Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alaracanfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And my good friend Joy Baker is back with us. And today we're talking about living a heart-centered life through balancing your chakras. I love having Joy on the show. We always do so many processes and clearings. It's always a high vibe call, and we started off high vibing, so I'm so glad. And so today, some of what we're going to talk about is what are childhood HIEEs. I don't even know what that means and how do they impact your life. So we're going to talk about that. Discover why it's important to clear your chakras in order to actualize your dreams. Learn ways to clear and strengthen your chakras. Experience a live chakra balancing and clearing. And have the opportunity to work with Joy live during the show. So if you would like to work with Joy, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. Right. And for those of you who don't know Joy, like I said, she's been with us many times. We love having her here. And I love working with her personally. I didn't have time this time, but I love working with Joy. And Joy excels at supporting individuals with becoming unstuck and freeing themselves so that they can live a more fulfilled and creative life. And since we're not taught this as children, how to process and let go of emotions that are limiting us, those emotions can become stuck in our bodies at a cellular level. And we've all experienced that. I'm still having stuff come up from when I was younger. So, it's a continuous basis. So if you've ever gone through any trauma in your life, such as car accident, relationship breakup, loved ones dying, loss of employment, physical, sexual, emotional abuse, or more, chances are you haven't known how to deal with the emotional aftermath of those events. And those emotions get stored in your body. And once that happens, you can develop attachments to those limiting feelings and unconsciously create scenarios in your life that can cause feelings such as anxiety, fear, shame, guilt, anger, overwhelm, etc., to repeat over and over. And the first step to becoming self-empowered is awareness. And once you become aware of what's limiting you, then it can be released and cleared. I love that you say that because I say that all the time too, Joy. And it's like, it's like you can't just clear stuff. It's not going to just clear. You have to have the awareness of what it is that you're clearing, what it is that you're releasing, and gain the wisdom from it. But you have to know. Anyways, maybe we're the crazy ones, Joy, but
maybe. Yeah.
So Joy, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. And I know I'm a little hyper at the moment, but I will calm down as the show progresses. So thank you for being here.
Okay, well, it's great to be back, Alara. So yeah, well, let's all just start with bringing in some really calming energy for all of us, because there's so much going on. And even if we generally lead pretty calm, quiet lives, I mean, in the, humanity in the collective, there's so much change going on, fear, uncertainty. So let's just start with, oh, there you go. I just felt everybody let go. Bringing in some calming energy. We're going to focus on the heart here. And so just put your attention on your heart, your physical heart, your heart chakra, your heart space there. Open your feet chakras and ground. Okay, there's some resistance to opening your feet chakras. So the earth has its own intelligence and will know how to release any dense energies that are released into it. The earth knows, earth is wise. And there you go. Good. I just felt the feet chakras opening the crown. And now let's connect to the heavens, ground to the earth. Open your heart chakra. There you go. Good. There's some calm energy. See that calm, relaxing, peaceful energy circulating within you, grounding you, supporting you and feeling safe, centered, grounded, relaxed, at ease. Let's awaken trust within you if you're willing. Awaken trust. There you go. And just take a deep breath in. Let that go. There you go. Just wanted to start out with that.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad because I'm feeling calmer, and we need that so that we can, have a wonderful, expansive conversation about, this is like so relevant and it's so needed right now because, we do hold a lot of emotional baggage, I'm going to say, in ourselves. And right now, the stress that we've been going through for the past year and a half, 2 years, a lot of that stuff has been coming up. So whether
Absolutely.
People are consciously aware of it or not, you are being triggered, and part of those triggers are from those earlier wounds, right?
Absolutely. It all starts when we're a child. We receive all our conditioning, 80% of our conditioning by the time we're 4, 95% by the time we're 12, and then we create our story and our identity from that place. And you mentioned HIEEs, and that's an easy way to remember because it's, like a 4 letters like that. It means high impact emotional experience when you're a child. So if you're hit or sexual abuse or you're yelled at, that creates a shock in the nervous system, and that shock gets stuck there. And that's why often people will keep, say have multiple car accidents or different things that, during life, and they say, well, I had this shock, and you start talking to them and you go back to their childhood and you realize when like that shock just got the shock and the fear and the trauma and then anything else at the same time all get stuck in the nervous system. So we'll keep repeating that and have experiences in our life to keep repeating that so that we can finally, what your nervous system and your body is trying to do is to release that shock and trauma. But if you're not aware of that, and like you said, that's awareness is the first step to growth. If you're not aware why you keep this keeps happening to you, you keep getting in car accidents or these I think we've all heard of people or we've been there ourselves where all of a sudden somebody says, I don't want to be in this relationship, and you think it's great, and that kind of a shock, anything like that. If you keep getting, say, repeated shocks, or just like what's going on in that, what's stored in your nervous system, what happened, go back to when you were a child. If a person goes back to when they were a child, even if you don't have to remember everything that happened, but just any trauma or anger, or like if, let's say somebody, because many empaths will never feel, or highly sensitive, will never let themselves feel anger or experience, or anything, or just they like anger. And I used to be like that. Anger was just not acceptable at all. But you keep attracting people who are angry or frustrated or really impatient or something like that. What that is, you're resonating it out. So that shock is stored in your body. You're still resonating and radiating that out. People who have a lot of anger with them are attracted to that. They align with that on a frequency alignment. And you're saying, I'm so nice, like I'm so calm and peaceful, and I just want to do right by everybody, but I keep meeting angry people, or people who are frustrated or impatient with me, or the polar opposite of that, avoiding me, don't want to spend time with me, seem to never have time with me. Well, when you go in and actually realize become aware of the anger that's there and release it, you no longer attract those same kinds of people. So that's why, the high impact emotional events, and they get stored in your nervous system, that's how it impacts us as, adults.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you may not even know that what the emotion is, right? So when you were talking about anger, and it's like, well, I used to be angry in the past. I'm still angry sometimes. Like, so yeah, I was, I burst, into flames sometimes. But sometimes, that anger is unmanifest, but it's deep down there. So for example, when I was younger, I don't remember my childhood at all, but except for, 1 or 2 key points. But, but what's interesting is that I can understand that I would have been upset. I would have been angry, scared, confused, felt alone, abandoned, all that wonderful stuff, right? All those wonderful emotions. And then, where am I still feeling that now? Where has it been coming up in my life, right? Because I've seen those patterns come up, in the past 54 years, right? And so they all stemmed from some of those earlier experiences, absolutely, which I was a child, I didn't know how to do anything, how to process any of those emotions. They just got stuck.
Yeah.
They got stuck in my cell, right? And as we start to do our work, a lot of us, we are doing our internal work, our personal work. A lot of that stuff is coming up, and you wonder, why is this coming up? I thought I dealt with this before. Last time yeah, you did, but there's still little remnants, right? And sometimes those remnants have to come up to be released and let go without judgment, right? It's always about
absolutely
just awareness and no judgment, but we tend to judge ourselves and saying, oh my God, why is this happening again? What's wrong with me? Why didn't I clear this before? Or why didn't I work with that healer? Why didn't it go away then, etc., right?
Absolutely, Alara. That's so, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I get that I have said that when my family stuff, the siblings came up again after several years of thinking it was done. I was like, what's going on here? I dealt with this, and I really thought I'd done I've done so much work around, and it's coming up again, but you can always go deeper. Because I mean, if you look at the map of consciousness, you know, that's emotional frequency that it's, and so from 0 to 1,000 are the saints, and anything below 200, we're stuck in self-sabotage, you know, anger, shame, guilt, fear, and such. Love and above, we're creating, we're in flow, and we're always raising our frequency. That's why it keeps coming up. We're on this path of ascension. That's why we're on it. We're light workers. You know, we're here to bring light into humanity, to see the light. We're always raising our frequency. And that's why we're given many lifetimes, so that we can just keep, you know, raising our frequency. So that stuff's coming up again because there's a density within, you know, whoever the person is. There's something there that is of a lower, denser frequency that needs to be released so that you continue ascension. That's why we're here. That's why you came, you know, on some level, your soul chose to come into this planet at this time to see the light and to be a light worker. So for those who are listening, who are, well, you're all light workers, but are considering, I want to do this, I want to be a healer, I want to coach, I want to facilitate, I want to make a difference. I'm going to encourage you to take action, and because humanity needs you, the earth needs you, the world needs you now, not a month, you know, 5 months from now or 5 years. That we need you now. All the light workers need to unite and say, we're here to see light, bring light into humanity, raise the consciousness. So whether it's in a little way or a big way, or just speaking the words, be a light worker. You came here. This is why you're here.
And it starts with you, right? It starts with you raising your vibration, you filling yourself up with light, you radiating that light out, and also at the same time shining that light onto those parts and places of you that you didn't want to look at, you know, though, because, you know, you know, we've been judged for having anger, right? It's a bad thing. You can't be angry. That's not Christian. Sorry for all the Christians, but I'm saying that's not Christian, right? That's what they say, right? But the thing is, I remember one time my guru in India told me a long time ago, and I'm going to say it in Hindi and then I'm going to say it in English because that's the only way I can translate it. Dukh ka karan gussa, gussa ka karan bhay, right? So the reason for sadness, pain, suffering is anger, and the reason for the anger is fear. So fear, separation, right? So if you understand that, okay, I have this anger, it's suppressed, which becomes depression and sadness, etc. But if you have this anger and it's there, what are you afraid of? Like, what is the fear that's coming up for you? And right now there's a lot of fear coming up. I know we didn't plan on talking about anger per se, but it was a great example.
Obviously, yeah, that we need to talk about it. And yeah, if you're with fear, and I've done this, only reason I'm here, and I'm sure yourself, Alara, and many people, is when you look fear in the face, when you actually say, okay, I'm done. Like, and I've done this, I just can't. The fear is so great, you know, the feeling terror, and, you know, especially when I was remembering like the repressed memories of sexual abuse, and it would get so great, and just that always on that hypervigilance, on edge, and just, I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I just cannot live my life like this. And I would just say, okay, fear, come on, like, bring it on. Because you know what, nothing can be worse than what I'm living and going through right now. When I said that, the fear was gone every time it's gone. So it's
so it's challenging the fear and at the same time stepping into your power.
Yes, and having the courage to do that. So let's take a moment right now to activate courage, that frequency of courage. And courage is the first emotional frequency above 200. So when you activate your courage, you start to create. When you're below 200 on that map of consciousness, you're constantly in self-sabotage. And no matter what you do, it doesn't seem to work out. As soon as you face a fear and you activate your courage and you take action, despite the fear, the fear is gone, and things will start to move forward in your life. So if you're feeling stuck right now, just let's activate that courage within you. And I did this with a client recently on a session I had, and I just really, you know, spoke my truth about some things she wasn't willing to see. Oh my gosh, just getting goosebumps with what she emailed me back, and her life has just literally shifted in just a few days. She just needed to hear it. She needed that courage activated within her. It's just, I'm just, wow, at the strength within her now. So
Awesome. And, and that's the thing. It's like, it does take courage to be a light worker at this time. It does take
Oh,
courage.
absolutely.
Right. And we've all been through a lot of challenges, no question. And we're not comparing the challenges. We've all been through a lot of challenges, and that's why we're still here. And, a lot of you know that, I had anyways, wanted to commit suicide 3 years ago, 2018. Anyways, so it's like, I'm still here. And being here means, taking a deep breath every day and saying, you know what? All right, what's next? Okay, what's next? What's next? I can do this, and with the support and guidance, of course, of our team, right? So I would not be here without my team of guides and angels, my higher self, source, I would not, right? So it's about when you are feeling down, when your emotions start to get the better of you, ask for support, call on that help, right?
Mm-hmm. No, first of all, I want to say, Laura, we're all glad you're still here. You made a decision to stick around.
Thank you.
And yeah, and this shows the importance of connection. In 2010, I almost committed suicide. I'd been suicidal before, but in 2010, I almost followed through on it. But I'd been on the path long enough, and I had that awareness to know that it was like probably a small percentage of me, maybe 5%, was still conscious enough that I could hold on to that. And I went, when you're suicidal, you feel like, at least I did, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares.
Yeah.
And because I felt like, but I knew I had to connect. So what I did, I connected to the eyes of a dog. I didn't have a dog at the time, but I just saw the eyes of a dog in a shelter, and they're really sad eyes. And I connected to them. And I totally believe that's what kept me on this planet, because I knew enough. I was conscious enough to be able to connect to something. And for me, it was, the soft, even though the dog was really sad, the love of a dog's eyes. And that's what kept me here.
Wow.
And so, yeah, connection is so important. And in this day and age, I mean, thankfully we have things like this, Zoom and the electronics and that. So
yeah, because if we did not, I don't know what I would have done in the past 6 months, right? Because it's like, I have no family here, no friends, nothing. And it's like, I would have, so it's like, it's technology, and Zoom and WhatsApp is fantastic. Use it to your advantage. Don't get carried away by it, right? But use it to your advantage, right? So we can use it as a tool. So Kat had written in the chat a little earlier, and she said, I don't think some of us know how to feel anger. So can you talk about that? So so yeah, I'll let you talk.
Okay.
I'm still a little.
That's okay. So yeah, I never felt anger, but I could tell. I mean, everybody's got their place they go to if they're not getting angry. The anger's there. One, if you're stuck, anger is a very powerful, passionate energy. And if you're feeling depressed, well, depression is anger turned inward. And so if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling heavy, stagnant, for me, I numb. That was my safe place. That when I was a kid, that's my default. I would just numb out. I would feel nothing. And so it took me a lot of years, but I finally realized if I was just completely numb, like just kind of, shelling myself, going through the motions, that was anger stuck within me. And, there are ways you can write a letter, not to send to a person. That's a passive way to release it. One really good way to release anger and to find your power and release your throat is to scream in the car or somewhere where you can just let it go. The first few times I did that, nothing came out. Like I'd been so silenced, and I had no voice and no power to even speak up, that I could not, nothing came out. I'm in the car and I'm like, here's my chance to make sound. And I couldn't.
Yeah.
And now if I want, I could. I feel kind of silly doing it because I'm just kind of making noise, but it activates the solar plexus and releases the throat. Yeah. And then there's also physically, with intention, releasing that anger. You can get a baseball bat, plastic baseball bat, and beat up something, and there's a whole process there. Some people call it active meditation, but really physically, releasing that anger with intention, but always bring yourself back to a place of calmness. But if you're feeling just stuck or stagnant, and I see this all the time with working with clients, when they're feeling just stuck and stagnant, once we go deep enough, sure enough, there's anger there.
Yeah.
And chances are there's some kind of anger there. So even just having the awareness, okay, there's anger here, that starts to move it.
Yeah. And the anger
And
could
then,
be towards somebody, some situation, God, yourself, all sorts of stuff, right? I did the same thing too, Joy. For a few years, I was totally numb, couldn't feel anything. And I was kind of worried. It's like, oh my God, I can't feel anything at all for anybody. But the only thing that kept me going was like, I know I love my kids. That I know for sure. I know I love my kids, even though I can't feel anything else for anybody else, but I know I love my kids. And that lasted a few years, right? And that was part of my, who knows, my heart opening, my awakening of this
yeah,
and that and blah, 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 right? But it was like, it's not easy. And I had a lot of anger. I think there's still a lot of anger. In my family, there's a lot of anger. My mother has a lot of anger suppressed. She had cancer um, almost 10 years ago now, right? So she had a lot of suppressed anger, resentment, bitterness, all that wonderful stuff, which she has still kept inside. She still has not released it and, expressed it.
mm-hmm.
Right. But I have, when going through this situation with Robert, I remember one time just screaming in the house here, I just like, I had to scream and let it out. One time I was walking with Neo and I just screamed at God and cried and let it all out. There's 85 people in this village. Nobody heard me, so it's like, it's okay. Right. But sometimes you have to let it out, and that gets the energy moving.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets all the emotions moving. I mean, everything. And yeah, even if you're not like, if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, or just nothing's working out, or if you keep meeting angry people or something, anger's there. Just be aware of that, acknowledge it. As soon as we identify and acknowledge something, we bring it to the light, because it's no longer hidden. So just by identifying and acknowledging it, you're moving energy.
Yeah. And so that's what it's about, right? So these emotions are stuck in our body, in our cells from when we were younger. And I think we carry this over also from past lives as well. I mean, I know ancestrally for sure, right? And past life. So it's all there, right? But you can start to release it. I know I've released a lot, right? So you can release it. It doesn't have to stay there, and you don't have to be subject to it at the effect of it, like be controlled by it, right? There's hope.
You don't have to be controlled. Yeah, and that's the more aware you are of it. And again, so a really easy way to release emotions. And even if you're feeling stuck or stagnant or depressed, and there's anger there, identify it. So identify, okay, there's anger here, acknowledge it, or shame or fear or guilt or anything else like that. So you identify, you acknowledge it, and then just accept it. And that's the key. Most people don't. They find shame or guilt or resentment or jealousy or anything like that. And then I shouldn't be feeling that way. So right away, you just keep that, you just anchor it down within you. When you accept, I just want to, when you accept here, when you accept it, it releases it right away. Because emotions, energy and motion are always you wanting acknowledgement. So when you accept, when you identify, acknowledge, accept, you're accepting yourself. It's that inner child. You're saying, yes, you're okay. I accept you.
Yeah.
And then all the, just releases. What were you about to say there, Laura?
I was going to say that in some modalities, people, they say not to identify an emotion because then you get stuck with it. But I don't feel that's true. I'm like with you. You have to acknowledge that it's there. So you're like validating or saying, yes, yes, it's here. I am feeling this, it's true. And then you can, then the acceptance, and then it can be cleared and released. But there are some modalities that say you should not, because, you get stuck with it.
If you identify, this is what most people do. Yeah, they identify and say, oh, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling shame, I'm feeling jealous towards that person, whatever it is. And then they make themselves wrong or bad. That's when it gets stuck. When you accept it, okay, so let's say, because jealousy will just really limit somebody, whether it's the person feeling that or being directed towards somebody. So let's say it's jealousy. I'm feeling jealous of this person's success, because that's often, common in any field. And most people go, oh my gosh, I shouldn't feel jealous of their success. I'm a spiritual person. I'm a good person. I should feel happy for them, but I don't. I actually feel really, because it makes me, all you have to do is say, okay, I feel, this is accountability. I feel jealous of their success. I know this is not supporting them or me. So how do I move past that? So when you acknowledge it and accept it and say, how do I move past it? And how can I release this and go forward? Then, I mean, everything's being released. And I just felt a heart opening there.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Thank you. Because that's so important, right? So important. Lori was asking, how do you turn off anger when you just get angrier and angrier?
Okay, so there's anger to be released. And first of all, acknowledge the anger and what are you angry about? So it's like, is it somebody triggering you? Are you living with family, family, kids, husband? Is it a friend? There's something triggering you. So you want to identify the source of that trigger, because there's something, you're angry. So you've got anger already, Lori, from when you grew up. The anger is within you and you're being triggered. There's something there that is triggering that. So that's a sign that, okay, it's time to release the anger, but also figure out what it is. So that's the first place I would suggest, is identify what the main trigger is. And then, calling for acceptance of your anger. So you're in, okay, so all the ways if you're willing for clearing here, all the ways you are in denial about your anger, because there's shame around the anger. So you're just constantly stuck in that anger and then it just keeps looping. It's just, if you're willing, let's just let that go. Bring some light in. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, there's the shame. So the shame was behind the anger. So the shame was keeping the anger stuck in there. There you go. So let's just witness and accept the shame. And this is for everybody, because often shame is what anchors in the anger. There you go. So we're just going to witness that shame. And what this is the child, the inner child, simply wanting compassion and understanding. There you go. Good. Take a deep breath in. Let that go. Interesting. Before, just when you came on, Alara, and then you walk it around a bit, what I was doing a bit of clearing, that's what I felt was shame. That was the main. I didn't say anything at that time, but yeah, there was shame there. So
yeah, she said thank you, brought tears to my eyes. Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome, Lord.
Yeah, good, awesome. All right, do you want to take some more questions, or do you want to talk about the chakras too now? It's like we're like all over the place talking about emotions and anger and
whatever you want. I always like questions, but whatever you want. If anybody's interested in the chakras, they can. But yeah.
All right, so let's take so Linda. Linda, you want to unmute yourself? And I was just going to say really quickly though, before Linda unmutes herself, is that for an emotion will go through your body in 70 seconds. So if you're feeling anger for more than 70 seconds, you've got stuck in the story. All right. So the actual pure energy emotion will only last 70 seconds. If it lasts longer than that, you're stuck in the story. And then it starts to repeat. Okay. So,
and that's when I just want to mention, that's when it's an emotion, that's energy and motion. When it gets stuck, that's when it becomes a feeling. There's actually a difference there. So emotion is energy and motion. You just, come in, you let it go. But when it gets stuck and anchored within you, then it becomes, I feel, and, your more feelings. So,
yeah. So just hope that helps. No judgment. We've all done it. So, okay. So don't please. I mean, I remember when I used to be married to my ex-husband, I was not happy, right? I was very unhappy. And when I was, it was that time of the month, I would go psycho crazy. And my kids were like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? And it's like, then all my anger would come up, all the feelings, would come up of all the things. And oh my God, it was like not a fun time, not a fun time to be in my house. So I get it, totally get it. All right, Linda, go ahead.
Hi, Linda.
I'm much better now.
That's good.
Linda,
Linda, you must be on mute.
We can't hear you, Linda.
No, still can't hear you.
Oh,
there you go. There you go.
For half a second, you got your finger on the thing somewhere. You're still touching the microphone. Okay.
Okay.
Talk louder then.
No, I can hear a very slight voice, but something's like, I just hear there's something there, so.
Yeah. Nope.
Okay, forget it then.
Okay, you can try again later.
Okay, honey.
I
She
could
goes,
hear a little bit, like a slight, but it was so low that,
I
yeah.
know, she
something's
goes
going on
through,
there.
this happens every couple of times, you know, it'll be fine. And then every couple of times, like, no, what is it that you don't want to say, Linda? What is it that you
That's a
don't
good
want to
point,
express,
yeah.
right?
Or be heard, yeah.
Yeah.
There's, yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
what don't you
Why
want
don't you want
to be heard? I'm just saying, you know, this happens quite a bit.
Okay.
So I'll call on you in a little bit, okay? All right, Rebecca, you want to unmute yourself?
Absolutely.
We can hear you.
Hi, Rebecca.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I look like a wild woman.
That's okay.
What's going on, Rebecca?
Well, my roommate, a guy named Sean, he and I got into an altercation on Monday, and now he's stomping around, not speaking to me. And, you know, I do like energy clearing for the apartment almost every day. I haven't gotten around to it yet today, but so I resonated when you said, you know, you attract angry people if you're probably not dealing with your own anger. So I would say that's probably at least part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so what's your question?
Well, what do I do?
Okay.
I want to make this better. Well, we're actually getting close to being able to part ways,
Yeah.
financially speaking. So I've just been praying for years, like, let this please just go smoothly when the time comes. Let it just be like we go through phases where he's very respectful and good to me, and then phases where he's like abusive and passive aggressive and nasty, judgmental. And
I just want to ask you, Rebecca, is this a roommate or is this a former person you were?
no, roommate.
It's a roommate. Okay. How long have you been roommates?
Off and on for 4 years.
And
I
you're
did move out.
together. You're together because of finances? Is that why you're like living together? Is the financial situation?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I left at one point, and then that situation kind of became not amenable. And then I thought that he and I had kind of worked things out in the 7 months I was gone. But when I came back, it was just the same, with just him trying to dominate me. And I will say that for years, I don't know if he still feels this way, but he was always trying to convince me to be his girlfriend. And I'm like, you know, I keep telling you, I could not be more blunt. Never, ever, ever, like absolutely under no conditions is that going to happen.
Okay.
But
Can I do some clearing here, or do you want to ask a specific question?
No, please.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of, you're really on edge. This started as a child. I don't know who was aggressive, or there's somebody aggressive growing up. You're really on edge. I can feel the hypervigilance within you. So all the ways
Both parents.
all the ways you and Sean are stuck in your story and his story as well. And oh yeah, there's a lot of fear, a huge amount of fear coming up. So you're really in fear of him, and he's taken advantage of that. So this is an old pattern that you guys are both in. You're both playing this out so that you can, relationships, any kind of relationship, friendships, any kind, are about healing and growth. And he's angry because you won't be his girlfriend. So you kind of went, like with roommates, it appears like it's financial, but you kind of met him halfway by being a roommate. And it's your way of saying, I will go along with you, but there are conditions, kind of thing. And yet you're on edge. Like, I can just really feel that hypervigilance within you, and that. Okay. Let's bring some calmness in here. Your throat is really stuck, so we're going to go there. And of course, this is for anybody listening. So your throat's really stuck. And okay, yeah, you want to say some really angry words. Whew, okay, that's intense. Yeah, you want to say some really, really angry words at him. And yeah, the very thought of saying those angry words, like even letting yourself go there to say those angry words, you literally freeze up. Okay, so this is fight, flight, freeze. So you go into freeze. That's your, okay, so let's bring some like calming energy, some gentleness and understanding into that freeze energy, because you've been stuck in this freeze energy your entire life. And so what it does, it just keeps you stuck in hypervigilance. And there you go. Okay, there you go. We just went right to the trauma. There's a, okay, just breathe. Just breathe. There's a lot of trauma coming up right now. So then the child is, it's okay. We're just going to talk to the child. Okay, and again, this is for everybody. We're talking to the child. It's okay. You're safe. This is a safe environment. Okay, so your child is saying that it's not safe in this environment. Your adult self is going to take care of you. She's going to make sure you're taken care of. Okay, so you guys need to, you and your child need to connect, and you need to let little Rebecca know that she is safe, and constantly talk with her. And even there's a writing exercise you can do. I won't go into it right now, but just write to little Rebecca, and then let little Rebecca say what she wants and write it down. And because little Rebecca, you are looking to feel safe, but you have, and we often do this as empaths. We put other people first. So you've constantly abandoned and betrayed yourself. And you did that by being roommates with this guy. You won't be his girlfriend, but you kind of say, okay, we'll meet you halfway. And little Rebecca needs you to stand up for her. She needs you to stand up for her. So let's activate your courage now, so that the money will show up when you decide, when you make a decision and you say, okay, it's time for us to part ways. The money will show up. Somehow it will. So let's bring in trust. There you go. Okay. So there, and we're going to, with your permission, call on Archangel Michael to activate within you and to fill you up with divine strength, power, courage, and to ground you into that. And we're going to ask your mind to acknowledge this, acknowledge the strength that is radiating within you, to acknowledge that. So your mind actually recognizes and acknowledges this strength, this courage within you. So you know what this feels like, and ground into that, feel that in every cell of your being right now. Just let yourself feel that. Okay, all the ways you believe power is the same as patriarchal power. And so you believe the word power, that's what it means. But there's patriarchal power, and then there's divine power. And what we're activating is divine power within you. There you go.
Thanks for that explanation, because it wasn't feeling safe.
Okay.
To have courage or power, because he's a very large, angry man, really big and muscular, and I'm afraid that if I stand up for myself and my inner child, that he'll hurt me.
Okay. If you're afraid, you might have to just, leave, have somebody else there with you, say we're leaving, have somebody else there with you, and just move out. If you're not feeling safe, you might have to contact an organization to ensure you're safe. If you really, if you're really feeling that, if he's really exhibited any kind of, like he could hurt you, then yeah, have somebody with you, have some support so that you can get out safely. But yes, it is time, Rebecca, for you to get out of that situation. You've done this situation, the same thing over and over again, and now you understand, and look into this, understand the difference, do some research on what patriarchal power is, that's controlling, that's dominating, that's about creating fear within a person. It's about causing, doubt, weakening them. That's patriarchal power. We have learned that and been birthed into that for many generations. But now we're in the age of Aquarius, and we've moved into divine power. This is what, like Archangel Michael is all about power, but this is divine power. Divine power, it's grounding, it's empowering, it's centering, it's balancing, it's expansive, it's supportive. That's what, when the more you understand that, the more you will feel that, and the more you will, things will open up for you, and you say, okay, it's time for me to move on. How do I do this safely? Well, I need to either call an organization and get somebody here with me, whether it's a sheriff or somebody, however, unsafe you're feeling, or have some friends there with you, and even have them videotaping the whole thing, so that it's videotaped right from the time you say I'm moving out have your stuff in boxes. He doesn't, as much as possible. And when the time's ready, just have it all lined up and get out of there. And once you make that decision, what you do, you send energy out, you send it up to the universe, and the light beings, they hear it. And they're like, okay, you've made the decision. We're here to help you. So just, and call on them anytime. You can say name, or you can, tell them, details. Just say this or something greater, and you'll be looked after. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Rebecca. Awesome. All right. So, Marielle.
Yeah. Hi,
Hello?
Marielle, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm coming. Okay.
Hi.
Awesome.
I've got a small problem and a big problem. So I think
Stick with one problem today.
okay. So one problem is that I've been single for 25 years. I would have liked to have another companion, but I was not, and I'm still not unhappy. But my friends won't try to help me to find someone, but without telling me who it is. So they ask me all kinds of questions, and it has been going on for like more than a decade without ever being direct. They tell me, would you like to go out with a man whose wife is sick and is in a home? Would you like to go out with a man that has X, Y, Z characteristics? And so often these are things that I don't want. Like, I don't want to go out with a married man. I don't want a polyamorous relationship. Anyway, so, and I tell them, but they don't stop. I have to end these what we could call friendships.
So are you clear on what you're looking for? So you know what you don't, okay.
Yes.
You have, okay. So are you clear on what you're looking for emotionally? So like, do you have, there's a way to do a list, and actually my mentor called it a shopping list, and it's not about being superficial, but there's a way to do it. So you write everything you want on there.
I did all that.
Okay, so you write the non-negotiables and non-negotiable, okay, and then you write the high preference. You've done all that?
I had a dating coach. I did all that.
Okay, awesome.
I've been single for 25 years. I've been working on this for all this time.
So do you want to be with somebody then? You've had a dating coach. Do you want to connect with and be with somebody?
Yes, but somebody that has all these specifics, so maybe I'm too difficult. I don't know.
Sorry, you said you want somebody who's got, so what you're looking, you've got the non-negotiables. Non-negotiables, like say, one, they have to be single. Almost people don't even think of that, but yeah, they have to be single. And that's really clear. If your friends say you want to go out with somebody who's, married, but his wife is sick and in a home, no, I want single. So it's really clear. So your friends know.
But they don't stop. It's like there's, and I think one of my second cousins is behind all that, because his brother told me, that even if he's married, he keeps asking.
So Marielle, what I'm getting, because when somebody keeps asking like that, it means you're not clear. That's ultimately when you are really clear and you're saying, no, I am, because you will set clear boundaries. If somebody says, well, what about this? What about this? It's like, no, this is what I'm looking for. You can send them the list. These are my non-negotiables, and single is at the top. This guy's not single. He's married, so.
They don't listen to me. They don't listen. I have to end the relationship. I did.
So is this question about meeting somebody, or is it about your relationships with others and people not listening to you, like people not hearing you?
Yeah, boundaries. It's like
I try to, so then I end the relationship. When I have said it for 14 years, I just end.
Okay, can I do some clearing here?
Yes.
Okay, so, because you're not being heard, so there's some part of you that is
And
not clear. Mhm.
I had cords removed 4 times.
Okay, okay. So there's some part of you that is not being clear in, not so much as what you're looking for, but it's more clear in who you are, and that, okay, so what you're expecting is to be almost like run over, literally, and I mean like run over energetically. And so people who have a stronger energy and they think they know better than you, and it's like they don't even hear what you're saying. And there's a part of you that is okay. Now we're going to a really sad, hurt part of you. It's really lonely. Oh yeah. Okay, just breathe. There's a lot of trauma coming up. So there's a part of you. So it's really sad and hurt, really sad and hurt about never really being heard. So we're going right there because that's what you're trying to release, is that part of you that is still so lonely and sad. This is a really deep hurt here over nobody really hearing you. And then there's a part of you, okay, because, so we're going to the wounded child. Then you feel like, oh, you should obey. So then what you do, you start to give your power away to your friends, and you start to question yourself. That's what it is. You question yourself because the wound, so the wound is activated that when they won't hear, you start to question yourself. And maybe I am being, too specific on what I'm looking for. So then you actually give away your power, and you start to listen to them instead of, being clear about what you're looking for and in your boundaries and having them hear you. You start to listen to them. And then when they start imposing their will on you, then you just get frustrated, and then you end the relationship, or you just get frustrated because nobody listens to you. Oh, there you go. Okay. There. Okay. So let's go to that wounded child. Okay, feeling very sad. So this is little Marielle feeling very, very sad and lonely, and feels like nobody cares. And she feels like nobody cares because nobody will hear her. It's like as a little child, you were screaming and trying to get somebody to hear you, but it's almost like you were in a bubble and everybody was just doing their thing. And you were in this little bubble trying to like scream to be heard, but nobody. Not that you were literally screaming, but it felt like, but nobody heard you. There you go. So we're going to go to this little bubble now, because you're still in this bubble. And I don't mean a bubble around you. I mean like a bubble within you, just internally trying to scream out and be heard. So we're going to, let's see, what are you looking for? Okay, Mother Mary is coming in, and this is compassion. So with your permission, we're going to ask Mother Mary, or whoever else you choose, to bless this child within you and hear her speak. There you go. There. Okay, there's grief coming up, and the grief is because that's all you ever wanted. There you go. It's to be heard deeply. There you go. Okay, so let's just stay in that. So be kind to yourself. And again, that writing exercise I mentioned before, write something down. Just ask a question of your inner child. Doesn't have to make sense. What you're doing, you're connecting and communicating with your inner child, and then just be silent and ask your child, let your child answer, and just write it down. And it doesn't have to make sense or logical sense. Just connect with that child within you. That will be so powerful, because the child within you wants to be heard. When you start connecting, communicating with yourself, others will start to hear you. Okay. And that will support you in finding somebody as well, because right now this is a big wound that needs to be healed before you find somebody. Otherwise, the same thing would happen with them, and they went in the first stage, a honeymoon stage, and it might feel like they hear you. But then because there are stages in relationship, once you get to the next stage, power struggle, then the same stuff would come up. So start communicating with that child within you. That's what you're looking for. Okay. There you go.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You don't feel any contracts that need to be removed?
Not at this time. I feel the communication with yourself, the connection with yourself, and hearing that inner child, that will make a huge difference. If you do that, I would suggest doing a writing exercise. You can use a crayon with the child if you want. And when writing down the child's answer, and do that with and that will make such a big difference. That alone. And then there might be contracts and vows and stuff coming up. But right now, I would say that's what I'm getting. The number one thing you can do to support yourself and your relationships.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Marielle. And yes, that was for everybody. So if you resonated with it, yes, you also got a clearing as well, for sure. Grace, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hey, Grace.
Hi, Joy.
There you are.
Hi. My question is, I'm going to take these out. I can't hear. If you would know what would be stuck in motion. I'm not sure if it's something to do with the lockdown, but last year I just lost interest in everything, and especially, I suppose, in making an effort. Like in the house, keeping things tidy and clean. I would tidy something up, and then I would tidy the sofa or a sideboard, and then within 2 days I'd cluttered it all up again. And it's still like that. And I keep thinking, it's like overwhelms me, but yet I just think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. It's as if, I don't know if it's the lockdown that's kicked something off in me, but that's the major one, but it's like a lot of things as well, and making effort in yourself and,
Okay.
like letting things go.
Okay. And this started about the time of, the whole 2020 thing, lockdowns and all that. Okay. And this started about the time of, 2020 and the lockdowns and all that, around that time. Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay.
losing interest in anything. And
okay, that's okay. I know where we're going here. And okay, just take a deep breath in, let that go. What it is you've been living, and this is actually happening for a lot of people, is you'd gotten used to the way things were, and the almost like a bubble, like you were seeing what you believed, you were seeing what you wanted to see, and you were believing what you wanted to believe that made your life feel good, and you're on the path and you're awakening, but it was still within the kind of like within the illusion of what you've grown up with. It was like, in other words, it was within the matrix. The matrix is an energetic structure of control and domination, and they control and dominate through fear and uncertainty. And so what we've moved, and that was the age of Pisces, and Pisces was all about systems and control and such. In the age of Aquarius, all that is crumbling. The systems are crumbling. Everything we've known was crumbling. And now the whole world is we're awakening, but we're also seeing a lot of what we don't like. And like it's like the whole world, your whole worldview has shattered, literally. Like this is really big stuff. It really is. It's like you use the word overwhelm. And I know you were talking about more, keeping like looking like yourself and your house and that, but we're literally in overwhelm because everything is shifting. And you're saying, this is not what I expected. Like the world is not what I expected. People, humanity, like I thought I could count on, I'm sure you probably never really gave a lot of thought maybe, but I thought I could count on, certain people, corporations, government, bodies of organizations, and all that's being shattered. And there's a part of you, because I felt the giving up energy within you, and what you're saying to yourself, I don't know if you've ever been aware of this, is why even bother caring? Like, why bother caring? Like my whole world has been shattered. And like I said, this is really huge. Your whole worldview has been shattered. And what you're saying to yourself is, I'm one person. What difference can I make? Like, why even bother? And then what you can, care about is your house and that, but it's extended to, I don't even care about my house anymore. Like nothing matters anymore. It's like nothing matters anymore. No, I think a lot of people are feeling that way, or like just what is, like, what does matter? And we're having to, even though those people that thought they were on purpose and doing what they, like, they're still saying, oh my gosh, like, what's really important to me? So what is really important to you, and what does really matter? And you came down here to be a light worker, and that you can be a light worker. Person can be a carpenter, or electrician, or a teacher, or a healer like this. But we're all, when you're on this path, you're a light worker, because you're here, you're raising your frequency, you're sharing your light. But what is really important to you? What matters to you? I mean, really, to me, I'm not a very good housekeeper either. Like a clean house, I like a fairly, decently clean one, but that's not what matters to me. And so what, like, why do you want to get up every morning? What is your why? What, when you say, what would make the world a little bit brighter? What do you have gratitude for? Gratitude is a huge way to shift. Like maybe keeping the sofa clean, or this clean is, it's nice to be in a clean place, but what really do you have gratitude for? Like the birds singing, or nature, the sun, or, that we go from dark to light every day. What if you had gratitude just for the simple things? And because that will start to go, when your heart opens, I can feel your heart opening up there. In fact, I can feel everybody's heart opening up. When the heart opens up, so I just want to share a couple of things here. The electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times greater than the mind. Most of us are in the mind. That's your shift right there. Before you were in the mind, you were doing everything right. You're on the path, doing it right, but you're still in the structure of the matrix, which again is about control and domination, fear and uncertainty, and everything is shattered. And now you're saying, like, what even matters anymore? Like, what's important? And it's such a massive change on a global scale. You just, like you said, you're feeling almost overwhelmed at how do I move forward from here? When my suggestion is every day spend 30 seconds, a minute, whenever, as much time as you want, focusing on your heart, because what you put your attention on, you give energy flows in that direction. What you give energy to, you get more of in your life. And so when you, in the heart area, the chest area, when a person is just going about their day, or especially when they're angry about something, or they just come from the mind, they radiate out 20 photons of light per second. So light is information, it's light. So when you're just going about your day, maybe you're kind of shut down or angry, you're radiating out 20 photons of light per second. When you are focused on your heart, when you're blessing others, when you're meditating on the heart, or even just putting your attention on the heart, you are radiating out up to 100,000 photons of light per second. And again, I want to, like I mentioned, the electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times greater than the mind. So that one thing can shift your life. Just every day, just place your attention. It doesn't have to be a big thing, or just like I have to, meditate and sit here and do this. And just, if you're driving, if you're walking, if you're having something to eat, if you're having a shower, cleaning, whatever it is, just, I want to put my attention on my heart and my heart space, and just do that for a few seconds, a few times a day. That alone can be a big shift. Okay, there's some resistance here, and the resistance is because then you start to care. And part of you is saying, I don't want to care. I don't want to care anymore. Look at the shape of the world. Look at the state the world's in. I just don't want to care anymore. And this is when we go into numbness, and this is when we don't care, and we don't care about ourselves, and we don't care about that. It's just like, why bother?
Yeah.
And you know what? This is a really great question, because a lot of people are feeling this way. Even just acknowledging that, I felt your entire self just relax and let go. And so that's another, you can ask yourself, why care? Why would I care? And when you came here to be a light worker. And okay, so what you're saying is, because you're an empath, you're highly sensitive. So you're saying, you know what, I've done that my whole life. I've sacrificed myself for others my whole life. I'm done. So now you're resisting. So again, there's a lot of stuff coming up here. But you're doing it from a different place. Instead, before it was self-sacrifice because you didn't feel good enough. You felt like you had to. And so that was the only way you could get your value or worth, by sacrificing yourself and putting others first, happiness and well-being. And then maybe you would get recognized or get some acknowledgement or get receive worth and value. Now, imagine feeling. So for everybody listening, just imagine, let yourself imagine you felt grounded, empowered, and you said to yourself, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am amazing. I believe in myself. I know I am amazing. I value myself. I choose me. And from this place, I choose to move forward and make a difference and empower others to be the best they can be. So you're not sacrificing yourself. You're not giving up yourself so that you can, somebody will maybe see your worth or value. You're saying, I feel amazing. I am amazing. I feel empowered and grounded. And from this place, I choose to share this with others so that others can feel inspired and empowered. It's a completely different place you're coming from. And from that place, I can feel you're feeling energized and inspired right now.
Because you just remind me, if you do things from self-sacrifice, you then feel people are taking advantage of you because they don't, you're giving, but they just keep taking. There's like, it's like a one way.
Yeah, exactly. That you're weakening yourself because you're constantly, because energy's in flow. Energy's always cycling back and forth, and that's what giving and receiving is. But often as empaths and highly sensitive light workers, we're giving and giving and giving, and eventually you get depleted, and the adrenals get depleted, and we go into health conditions, and different health conditions come up, and adrenal exhaustion, and all of that, and chronic fatigue. All that comes up because when you're giving of your life force energy, but if you're not receiving, and this is for you and everybody listening, receiving, focus, let yourself receive, just let yourself receive. Because energy, when you look at it from energy and it's energetic exchange and it's a value exchange, why would you turn away energy? Why would you say no to energy? Like money, that's all money is. Money is energy and consciousness. So when you say no to money, or when you're stuck in lack and limitation and scarcity, you're saying, I don't want that energy because that energy is bad. That energy is no good. That energy means I'm this or that. It's simply energy. So there was a whole lot there. That was awesome.
Yeah. I know, because when Alara was talking about numb, I was starting to think then, well, is it because I just feel a bit numb, like a zombie? Instead of doing things, I just sort of kind of sit. I like reading, but it's like not interested. I'm thinking, what's happening?
I think if you listen back to this too,
yes,
what we just covered
because
there was a whole lot. Yeah, there was a whole lot.
I didn't realize
there.
about the self-sacrifice. Yeah. I didn't realize that. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you for that. That was great.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace. Okay. Good. That was a big one. Lots of releasing, lots of awarenesses. Absolutely. Right. So yes, good. So we haven't talked about the ways to clear and strengthen our chakras.
Okay. Right. Yeah, we'll touch on that. Absolutely. And so into the questions, forgot that this was, okay. So I just want to really touch on this question. You're not going to keep your attention on the heart all the time. And we can never keep our attention on something all the time, 24/7, but just a few moments. Oh, I want attention on my heart. That's it. Like if you just give your heart a few moments of attention here and there, and just even put a Post-it note, put attention on my heart space. Yeah. And you just focus on it. And then at the same time, just send a blessing out to others. It can be done really quickly. You're cycling the energy and you're focusing on your heart. You're sending that out. So first of all, before I go into ways to strengthen chakras, if there's a zip up exercise, and the central meridian, also called the conception meridian, flows from your pelvic area up to your bottom lip, so up to your lips. And it's supposed to flow up, and that gives energy to your brain and your eyes. And if it's flowing backwards, which stress or unhealthy foods or arguments or, you know, even getting off balance or falling or something like that will cause it to run down. And when that happens, you can feel foggy or tired or just really sluggish, and messages get, you know, sent around the body really slow, like you're just not responding very quickly. So you want to flush that out. So you run your hand up and down from your pelvic area to your lips about 5, 6, 7 times, about, you know, just a couple inches off your body, run it up and down, and then take your hand up to your bottom lip, and like a key in a lock, just turn it and flick it away. And that brings you that first, and that grounds all your energy. You know, it starts to center all your energy and balance those. That's a really quick balance. So to cleanse the chakras, you can do them all, or you can just focus on them. I would suggest, you know, when you start doing them, you do them all. First of all, run your hand. So you've got your palm of your hand in front of you. So it's just in front of you like this. And run your hand counterclockwise. So just in front of you, each chakra, first, second, third. You do the first one, just run it counterclockwise. And some people will say do it this many times. I'm saying use your intuition. And you're also, the more you use your intuition, the more you start to trust yourself. That's cleansing it. And then when you go clockwise, that is energizing it. So you can do that with all your chakras. So, you know, if it's in front of your heart, you're going, you know, counterclockwise till you feel like, you know, a couple, 2, 3 inches away from your heart, and then just go clockwise, and that energizes it. And that's how you can cleanse your chakras and really get, and chakras are, you know, they're spinning vortexes, and they're bringing information in. So when they spin, and the faster they spin, they're bringing, so these are, you know, light photons, energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's, which is information. So that is, you know, information about each of us and collective consciousness in that. And so the faster your chakras spin, so if you're feeling kind of numbed out, clean your chakras, clean them and spin them to energize them and that. And so that's one you can do to clean your chakras and bring color into your life. You know, I've done it with just Post-it notes, or just get colored construction paper from the dollar store. Even, and you can put, if you've got Post-it notes, colored Post-it notes, you can put positive sayings on them. Put them all over, because color has a vibration, and the chakras have color. And color, like, it's got vibration and frequency. The more color you can have in your life, like vibrant colors, you raise the frequency right there. So it's one of the ways you can raise the frequency. And you can also use, if you want to do, you can wear, you know, the 7 chakras or 7 colors. If you can wear 7 different, you can do this with socks or undergarments, or just your clothes, wear a different color every day. You could even get different colored socks for every chakra and wear a different color every day of the week. Like, you just, you know, that's just kind of a fun way to do it. But yeah, the colors you wear make a big difference.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you. I love those quick tips, you know, because we can all do that really quickly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The zipping up, you know, and the chakras, it's like, yeah, why not? It takes 5 seconds. It's like, it doesn't take any time at all.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you know, no excuses. If somebody says to me, I'm not grounded, hello, have you done that quick little technique? You know, it's like, come on. What color is the heart chakra? The heart chakra is
green for healing and pink for romantic love. So if you want healing, it's green. If you want to bring somebody into your life or create a romantic relationship, wear pink.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the packages first, and then we'll do the process, right? So the packages that Joy has for us this time around is available at alara.at/show/joy6. I'm just going to put that link in.
I actually need to go there myself. I totally forgot to bring them up. And yeah, so
yeah, now I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't do anything wrong. Nope. There are 3 packages, package A, B, and C. Package A is living a heart-centered life through balancing your chakras, plus the 7 intention-focused chakra balances. And then package B is all of that, plus a personalized remote freedom clearing. And package C is package A plus a 35-minute personal phone session with Joy. And I have to say, I've done both. I've done the personal phone session with Joy, and I've done the personalized remote freedom clearing. Both are awesome, right? I would go with the phone session because, you know, then you're having the personal consultation session and she's doing clearing too.
Yeah,
At the same
it's
time,
really
right?
powerful. Yeah, yeah. And somebody was asking about the colors on this special offer. I've got a lot of information there on the chakras. So if you go to that page and different colors, plus in these in the program with each, I clear and activate for each of the 7 main chakras, and I go into at the beginning. I mentioned, so the information on the special offer page was talks about the colors and such, but then I say what part of your body, organs or such, that each chakra affects. That's in the program, and I say that at the beginning. So the first part goes through, that's just clearing and activating each chakra, each of the 7 main chakras there, and so we go through each one 3 times here. And then these are chakra balances. These are really powerful because when we have an intention, and intention is so powerful because it sends that clear focus out to the universe, and you focus on something and then you clear all your chakras so you get that energy moving. These are there's health and vitality, there's money, receiving and having money, trust, and awakening your intuition. And I often get asked, how can I awaken my intuition? Trust is a key, because if you don't trust yourself and you don't trust the messages that are coming in, you will just ignore. Your intuition is alive and well.
Yeah.
But if you don't trust the messages that are coming in, you won't even hear them, because we're not told messages that will support us in continuing on the same path. We are given messages that will often say, okay, go this direction, do this. And you'll be saying, everything in you might say, why? Just do it. So it takes a lot of trust. So the trust and awakening your intuition, really powerful. Relationship with self and others. And we had a caller asking about that. That would be a good one. Unleashing your creativity. Body consciousness. I've had a couple people listen to this one, really helped them with releasing pain, and the other one could, the inflammation she could feel, that went down in her body. And then having fun, because often, I know I've certainly done this, I get so focused on the path of my inner growth that I get over serious and I forget to have fun. So that's one. And I think it's around 5.5 hours in total, I think, something like that. That's $97. Very powerful. Like a lot of information there on the chakras in each one. Package B, this is a freedom clearing. So it really depends. It's remote. It's done from your picture. So you send me your picture, just a headshot, a recent headshot, and an issue that you want cleared. Just something. It can just be a more financial abundance, or it can be harmony in relationships, or a little bit of or even a couple issues. Because if you have 2 or 3 issues, I've always found when somebody sends me a few issues, then they will be related. There will be a core issue that needs to be cleared out. That, for some people who are really, really busy, or just want to send me their picture and the issue and then receive the audio, this is pretty much ultimate inconvenience, the freedom clearing. And then you've got the package as well, the audio package. So that's one, package B. And then the next one, package C. So you get the first package, audio package program there, plus a 35-minute phone session that's recorded. So you can listen to this as well anytime you want after that. And the beauty of that is that, like you said, Alara, when we're actually on the phone, a person might say, I want to focus on this, but sometimes we'll go in a different direction, but memories will come up and they'll say, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And we'll clear that and such. So that's so powerful. And being in that, when I'm doing this work and the clearing, that I am in that 5D space, that source, that source energy. And when I'm connected to a person it's in their freedom clearing as well, but on the phone, just because we've got that connection in the same time and space, and it's just so powerful. So those, and then that's offer C.
So Grace was asking about the personal session. Is that on the phone or via Zoom, or how does that work?
Great question. It's on the phone, but it can be on the phone. I use instant teleseminars, so it can also be, you can use the web call option. And so, like, I've talked to people in Bulgaria and, all over the world.
Yeah.
Using this. So whether it's phone, I don't use Zoom, like I don't have a video, I don't use a video option. And when I'm doing my calls, but it is recorded. So, but yeah, you can be pretty much anywhere in the world as long as you have a good internet connection. It'll work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember it was web call because we did it that way as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
yeah. So
yeah, really powerful. Like I said, I've done both the freedom clearing and the personal session. I like both, but I prefer the personal session because more comes up. Because I know that when we were talking, some stuff came up that I hadn't even thought of, or like was in my mind. But during the session, it came up, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, let's clear that. But even like with the personal session or the freedom clearing, when you listen to them again afterwards, even a couple of weeks afterwards, you're going to hear something different. You're going to hear,
absolutely.
Yeah, like it's like a totally different conversation or a totally different freedom clearing. It's like, I don't remember hearing that, at that time. You will get more from it as you listen to it as well. So it's not just a one-time thing and that's it. But you can listen to it again and again, and you'll hear something different, and it will clear at a deeper level or a different layer.
Absolutely, yeah. And the reason for that is the first time our unconscious conditioned self or unconscious conditioned ego mind, that was formed as a child, it's in resistance because it's new information, it's higher frequency, it's higher consciousness. I'm in this source energy when we're working together. And so even if a person says they're open, the unconscious conditioning is still in resistance. And that's why when you go back and listen to it, or the program, the chakra program, when you listen to it again, then you hear something you didn't hear before. And yes, Alara, like you said, energies are cleared at a deeper and deeper level. And I just want to mention with the chakra program, the first 7 one, when you first listen to it, you can listen to it all the way through, all 7. And then if you're feeling, okay, I need, to activate my solar plexus, I want to open my heart, you can just listen to a specific one if you want. They're about 20 minutes. I think they're around 15, 20 minutes each. So you can just listen to a specific one and get that, kind of boost in energy.
Awesome. Thank you. And so, yeah, so Joy is really good at, like when she's working with you one-on-one or in the freedom clearing, she is able to pick up and tune into what is coming up for you in that moment and able to clear that, right? So yes, she works with the inner child, but also like whatever is coming up. Like I said, sometimes, some of the stuff I hadn't even mentioned, I didn't even know was there until she picked it up and said, oh yeah, oh my goodness, yes, for sure, please, thank you. So really powerful, really helpful, and you will experience a transformation over time, right? So like each time you listen to it, you'll experience more changes, more ahas, more awarenesses, and more releases. And that's what we want, is to be able to experience the releasing, because those stuck emotions, we want them released out of ourselves, out of our energy fields, so that we can create our lives, right? Yeah, Georgia says, having worked with many healers, I would like to say Joy's clearing are the most powerful with results, without a doubt. I highly recommend her as a top-notch healer for sure. Awesome, Georgia. Thank you.
Georgia.
I agree totally. I mean, I highly recommend Joy as well, because like I've worked with her myself, and I was, wow, thank you. This was awesome. I was not expecting it, so yeah, definitely. If, we all have stuff, right? We all have stuff in ourselves. We all have stuff from our childhood, past lives, etc. And whatever is most relevant at that time is what Joy picks up on and is able to clear and release. So yeah, definitely. I would recommend either B or C, but if not, get A, but definitely if you can work with Joy personally one-on-one, that's awesome. Okay. All right. So we want to do the chakra clearing process, chakra clearing and balancing, right?
Yeah, if we've got time, absolutely. I'll do a group process here.
Yeah.
Do a bit of a, okay, so do a bit of a chakra balance here. So I'll go through them. Okay, I was going to go from like 1 to 7, but I'm actually being guided so to the solar plexus. So just take a deep breath here. Let's see. So we're going to the solar plexus first for some reason. And the reason is because there's a conflict here around power. Because this came up with a caller earlier, what we've known is patriarchal power, very dominating and aggressive and controlling. And just like the age of Pisces has ended and we're going into the age of Aquarius, there's rather than being a flow of energy, there's conflict. So let's just bring some softness into the conflict. Okay, there you go. I'm just going to follow the stream of consciousness here. So we're going to the first chakra, and this is shame. There you go. So the shame is okay. So all the ways that shame is keeping you stuck in a misunderstanding about what power is and stuck in patriarchal power and seeing the world through the eyes of like patriarchal power and understanding, like seeing it through the world, the eyes of control and domination, and then going into fear and uncertainty. Oh yeah, that brought up a lot of stuff there. So okay, there you go. Okay, so now we're going to grief. So grief is like stuck right in the bottom of the first chakra there. And so we're going to grief. Interesting. Any ways in which grief, being stuck in grief, has been preventing you from opening up your feet chakras and grounding into Mother Earth and feeling the strength and the support of the earth. There you go. Okay, there you go. And that also release your heart. That's awesome. Okay, so the first good, we released a little tension around the hips. Just release some tension from the hips. There you go. Let's go to the second chakra. Okay, there's more shame there. So shame and anger they're intertwined. So first of all, we're going to bring some, let's see, just like unraveling. We need to unravel them because they're literally bound together right now, shame and anger. And let's bring in some gentleness and some compassion to the, okay, all the ways that shame and anger has prevented you from connecting authentically and powerfully with others from a place of kindness, compassion, understanding, and, you know, flowing both ways. So being a flow of energy, a flow of understanding. And so the shame and anger has, so even when you're around other people connecting to them, whether, you know, this kind of a venue or in person, there's been a bit of a buffer between you. There you go. All the ways you have not felt worthy of authentically connecting with others. There, okay, there you go. There's the shame coming up. Any times in your life when you were told or it was implied that you were not worthy of connecting authentically and from a heart-centered place with others. There you go. Let's witness, honor, and acknowledge that. There you go. Okay, let's go up to the solar plexus and all the ways that has weakened you, and it's weakening your throat chakra as well. So let's clear out the throat chakra here. There you go. Okay, so we're going to ask, Saint Germain. Okay, Saint Germain and the violet flame to activate within you the understanding and the knowing of divine power. There you go. Understanding what divine power is all about, the gentleness, softness, kindness, and yet the strength of divine power, grounding, centering, balancing. There you go. Okay, there's some grief coming up because there's a part of you, this is what you've looked for your entire life. And now that you can feel this, even if it's not consciously, there's a part of you that can feel the beauty of this divine power and the strength of it. And you've been looking for it your entire life. So let's honor that grief that's coming up. Just witness and honor and acknowledge the grief. There you go. Good. Take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay, let's go to the heart. And that opened your heart right up. Okay, your heart is shining light. Your heart feels soft and gentle. There's also some sadness that was sitting at the back of your heart there. And that has been released. So we're going to witness this sadness. And there's some loneliness there and some emptiness. So let's honor and acknowledge all of that. All of that. There you go. Let's bring some compassion and nurturing and bless your heart. There you go. Let's witness the sadness. As you feel loved and seen and heard and nurtured, grief is coming up. So we're going to honor that grief. There you go. Just take a deep breath in. Let that go. And let's go up to the throat. Okay, there's some anger stuck in the throat space. There are angry words wanting to be said. So we're going to bring some understanding into those angry words, because they're stuck there because you have no desire to hurt anybody or shame anybody, and yet you're wanting to be heard. And you were taught to, the only way you can be heard is through anger. So the anger is just stuck in your throat space, has been up until now. So we're witnessing those words, and with your permission, we're going to call on Archangel Raphael to transform those words to words and vibrations of beauty, of gentleness, of understanding, of compassion, of support and inspiration. There you go. Okay, so energy's been released from your throat. So you might feel the hands of light just releasing any stuck energy around your throat space. There you go. Because it was really a release from you, but it kind of got stuck to you physically. So we're just brushing that off. There you go. Good. Just take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay, so that's opened up your third eye, your sixth chakra, your intuition and vision. Okay, there's some shame and hesitation here because now you're opening up to vision, and your intuition and your dreams and your desires are awakening. And so all the ways you believe you're not worthy or deserving of having dreams and desires, you did not come to this earth to settle. You came here to be all you can be, to feel empowered, grounded, inspired, to feel good about yourself, and to share that with others. There you go. So give yourself permission. Let's create the space within you right now for you to dream. Give yourself permission to dream, to awaken to your desires, to more, to being in that cycle of giving and receiving, receiving and giving. And give yourself permission to feel good about that. No, say to yourself, I am worthy. I am deserving. I matter. I am important, and I am ready. I am ready and I am willing. There you go. Good. Take a deep breath in. Let go. And let's go up to the crown. Okay, there's a little bit of kind of low frequency energy in the sitting on top of your crown. Some religious beliefs here from this lifetime, past lifetime. So we're going to release that because we've all had past lifetimes where we've been indoctrinated into religion, those religious structures. So if you've got any religious structures that are working for you, absolutely. Just those are not being released. And it's what's not working for you. What's working for you, what you want to keep and hold on to is yours. There you go. Okay, good. Take a deep breath in, let that go. We're just going to go up to the 8th chakra there, your first spiritual chakra, and just clear out a little bit of dusty energies there. There was some stuck karma there from past lives. There you go. Good. Okay. So we're going to bring some balance into the entire chakra system, but the entire energy system, let's balance all the energy flows. Balance the endocrine system. There you go. Balance, center, ground. There. Okay. There you go. Just take a deep breath in. Let that go. There you go. Namaste. Okay. Yeah, it's a big release of energy there.
I was releasing through the whole thing. I was just yawning like crazy through the whole thing. It was like, oh my goodness, so much releasing. Wow, how's everybody doing? So Madalena, we just did a chakra clearing and balancing for everyone. So be willing to receive, right? For that, because like I said, it was huge. I'm still releasing. How's everybody feeling? Lori says, thank you so much, Joy. Yeah, Madeleine says,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Gosh.
And that was just a few minutes. I think that was like 8 minutes or something like that. So if you imagine like whether the program, those chakra balances are between 20 to 30 minutes, or the phone session or whichever one, like that's you get that even more powerfully. There's a lot of releasing going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still happening. Suzanne is asking, could it be on Skype also with the personal session? Do you do Skype?
No, I don't. I don't do Skype anymore. I find when I'm with video, I just find that any kind of, I mean, I can connect anywhere around the world. I also have another option that is video, but even I prefer not to use a video because that way I can just, I'm right in the energy that way. I'm actually much better with just pure energy because there's nothing, it's just energy. And then we can really go deep.
Yeah. And with the web call option, you can do the web call option from anywhere. Like you just need either a computer or telephone, because with the instant teleseminar, there's lots of phone numbers that you can call, in many parts of the world, right? So, yeah, George says, thank you. That was very powerful, sweating like crazy. Lori says, I cried so much through the chakra clearings. Rebecca says, thank you so much. That was great. Karen said, that was huge. So grateful. I feel a bit nauseous. Yeah, I'm like a little out of it, but I guess it's just releasing. So yeah, drink water, ground, right? Do the grounding process that Joy showed us earlier, or just ground into Mother Earth. That'll be really helpful, so that, but yeah, there's still a lot happening.
Oh, that will continue. And that was just a brief little, the reason being you're brought into such a high frequency. Like I'm in the 5th dimension and beyond when I'm doing this. I'm off somewhere else and I'm working with pure light. Think of just pure light, just being showered with pure light and love. That's what's happening. So that's why you're going such a big release. And yes, it will continue to happen. And then they can watch this. You can watch his show over as many times as you like, and you just get it all over, all the clearing and release over again.
Yeah, and there was so much wisdom during this call and the other releases. You definitely want to watch and or listen to it again. But yeah, the chocolate clearing as well, still gonna go on. I'm like, I need to go outside and ground into Mother Earth for a few minutes, because it's like, yeah, for sure. Thank you. Oh, that was awesome. And so don't worry, for those of you who are like, wanting to do a personal session with Joy. It is really easy. Like I said, no matter where you are in the world, it's possible for you to do the personal session with Joy via the phone or the web call option. Web call is just a click of a button, basically, so it's not hard at all. And again, those packages for Joy are available at alara.at/show/joy6. So definitely jump on those if you can. Get the remote freedom clearing option or the personal session clearing option. I highly recommend either one, but I like the personal session one. But if you have hesitation about being able to speak to Joy, then do the remote freedom clearing. That's awesome too. You just send your picture and 1, 2, or 3 issues, and she will work on you remotely and send you the MP3.
We go really deep in 25 minutes, like because I've just got the energy, and when there's just straight energy, there's no story, and I'm not emotionally connected to anything that comes up. So we go deep quickly, and I hear that all the time. Like, how could you go that deep that quickly? But I mean, when there's no obstacles in the way, and I've been given permission to go deep, we do.
Yeah. Grace is asking, do you, Joy, send the link for the web call as never used it, only use Zoom? Yep. Yeah, when you, there's a link to book your session, and then after you book your session, then she'll send you the web call link. Like I said, it's really easy. Yeah.
And I mean, I do have another option that, besides instant teleseminar, and it's like Zoom. It's pretty much exactly like Zoom. And, but I generally don't use it because the web call option. Yeah, I mean, where you are, Alara, or in Bulgaria, I mean, I've used it all over. So as long as there's a strong internet connection, it works.
Exactly. I used to use instant teleseminar for these shows before I went to straight video, because it's like, that's what was done all the time, with only audio. But I got bored. So it's like, I want to see people's faces.
Yeah, it's such a difference. Yeah.
So I like it in that way. But yeah, and even sometimes when I will do some sort of healing and I need to focus, I will just turn my camera off because I need to focus. You know, it's like I don't want to, you know, be focused on looking at somebody or have somebody looking at me. I just want to focus on the energy, right? So
Exactly.
that's an option too. Okay, cool. So any other questions about the packages? Anybody? Before we go, because I do have another call in at 5, yeah. But I think we're good. So take your time. Take your time, everyone. Be gentle with yourself, right? Drink water, ground, and just continue to let stuff go. Right? Because stuff is going to come up, right? So just let it go.
Yeah. Just be kind to yourself. I mean, just be kind to yourself. And and remember, if anything comes up, sadness or grief, or I'm, you know, jealous of this, or I'm feeling, just accept it. Because it's just so common, like we're on this path and we're waking up and we're realizing that we're feeling different things, but then we make ourselves bad for feeling it. Well, then we're just keeping ourselves stuck. Just remember that word acceptance, acknowledge and accept, because when you accept, energy moves. If you want to keep energy moving, just accept whatever it is. And that one thing can make such a difference in your life.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You know, acceptance is huge. And when you start to accept yourself, all aspects of you, all your stories, everything, it starts to shift, right? Because you cannot shift if you don't accept. If you're in resistance to who you are, what you're feeling, etc., you can't change it. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yes. So, you know, as the stuff comes up, you know, it's like, yep, I accept it. This is how I'm feeling, or this is how I used to feel, or yep, this definitely, you know, absolutely, but I'm willing to let it go now. So thank you. Right. So just let it go, observe it, and say thank you.
Yeah.
And then be in that state of gratitude. I mean, you all know I have the gratitude group on Facebook. Gratitude is huge, huge.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
right?
the most powerful energy we can create from gratitude. Yes.
Yeah, and you can be grateful for little things. You can be grateful that you were on this call. You can be grateful that you have internet, right? Because that's how you get on the call.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be grateful for warm weather, because sometimes we go back and think about the winter was like so cold. It's like, oh my God, yeah, I love this beautiful weather, right? So it's like, you know, little things and big things, whatever it is. Right. So be grateful. The more that you're grateful, the more the energy will expand, the more your heart will open up. And, you know, somebody was asking about the heart again, like Joy was saying, just come back to your heart every, you know, couple of times a day. Just be there for just a second or two. Just remind yourself to come out of your head and come down to your heart space and breathe. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. Okay. It's that simple. Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's not about sitting in your heart space for half an hour, 5 hours. No, just a few seconds is going to make a difference. Okay, so just do it.
Yeah.
Woo! This was awesome, Joy. Oh my God, this was like, it was a high vibe call from start to finish. And
yeah, you know, it was fun.
The energies are still flowing, and oh my goodness. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on your show again, Alara.
Oh, absolutely.
And thank you for everybody listening in and watching.
Yeah, and so the replay will be out a little bit later. So but again, please watch and or listen to it again, because it's really powerful. Share with your friends and family, because there was a lot of releasing that we did, where Joy did on this call, that it's going to be helpful for everybody, right? Especially with the time that we're in right now. The more that we can release, the more we can accept, the more we can be at peace, the better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
lots of releasing going on.
And I know we didn't get to everybody's questions, but I think we did a lot. We did a lot on the call. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for all your questions, all your comments, all your feedback. So much. I'm so grateful for all of you. So grateful. So thank you. And thank you, Joy. Again, like it's all, I love it when you come on the show. So it's wonderful. You look amazing. Oh my goodness. I don't know what you're doing, but you know, you look awesome. Thank you. And until next time, everyone, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.